Thinking and creating, very important as well. Now, this is where we're going to learn a very detailed explanation of the process of attracting your soulmate. I want to be very clear on this. The idea is the person. It is that other human being or soulmate you desire to attract into your life. The idea, this is the process and the sequential order of how this comes about. The idea creates desire. If you have no desire to attract a soulmate, nothing will happen. Desire is the catalyst that starts everything in motion. Desire leads to thinking and creating, which leads to action. I repeat, desire leads to thinking and creating. That's why also it's important to write down the specifics of what you would like to attract. What is it that you want? Okay? And you start thinking about it. That thinking leads to creating. Creating leads to thinking, and thinking leads to creating, which leads to action. The action of what, you may ask? Now, the attracting, the designing, building, developing, forming, arranging, locating, changing, moving, creating elements, etc. All of this will take place in your consciousness while you go about your everyday life. Action will produce an idea delivering a manifested outcome. Just have faith. Now, let me give a demonstration here. That person or anything else that you desire, if we were not talking about the law of attraction, attracting the love of our life, it could be a home, a new automobile. It is actually in existence. You just can't see it with your natural eyes. So we say it is behind the veil. If you look here, I have something in my hand behind the veil. You can't see it, but it's there. It's physical. It's just as real as what you can see when I move this object in my other hand around in front of the veil. As you think and create and attract, it's going to move from behind the veil to your reality. That person that you desire to attract into your life as the love of your life, your partner, your companion, your husband or wife, they already exist. They are here now. But you just don't know who and where they are. But as you go through this process here, the thinking and creating and the meditation will bring that person into your physical reality, which means this person will have to come into your reality where you can meet them face to face, hand to hand. That's what we aim to do with this process. Somehow we lost Dez. I'm not sure what happened.
I didn't want to interrupt. He put a message in the chat. I think you might have to add him in again.
He's back.
Oh, there he is.
Dez, you're back with us.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just had some technical difficulties on my end, but I'm back.
Wonderful. Did you hear the last comments that I made?
Absolutely. I was just in the bleacher, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have anything to add to that, Meredith? Do you have anything to add to what I just mentioned?
I want to start off. I really like this part of the 4-step process. Just starting with creating, and you said something that I think is really important that I just want to emphasize,
Sure.
And that's in the idea of creating a desire. You said that comes from the frame of thought that it already exists. You might not see it right now, but it's that level of consciousness and that belief system that it's there. It's there for you to receive. It's not a work of fiction. There is an opportunity to receive that. And I think that just made me think of conversations that some of my friends and I have. And we talk about people's, I would say a general people's opinion or the way they go about things in dating is that they don't place the same level of importance. And I thought that was so huge because when we think about, and I think, Des, you kind of alluded to this earlier, so I'm really glad that there's an opportunity to circle back to it. But in all other areas of our life, whether it's fitness, finance, our careers, just different goals in our life, I think we have a process, or we have a certain level of faithfulness and different things, that time that we're going to be willing to put in to achieve those. So you never hear people say that, oh, when I'm 30, I'll start going to the gym. No, if you're really committed to your physical health, you know that that is something you have to work at every day, and you're not going to see changes overnight. And you could have a season where you're going to the gym, but you still feel like you're gaining weight, or you're going to the gym and you feel like you're not seeing results, but you wouldn't just quit. And then you'd have that slide where we talked about lower vibrations, where you have trauma and anger and fear. Like, you don't have those same conditions. You would keep doing it. And I think the same is with investing. You could have a period in the market where you're losing a lot of money, but you wouldn't just stop investing. You'd have that patience, and you reassess different strategies, and you keep going. And I think it is very interesting that when it comes to dating, and we talk about finding our soulmate as being this really important relationship in our life, we don't have that same unconditional work ethic, in the sense of that we're willing to have this idea, this desire. We're confident it exists. We don't really see it right now. We don't know where it's going to come from, but we know that it's attainable, in the sense that we're willing to meditate on it. We're willing to date and weed out different options. I think it's kind of like a one or done situation. I think some of my girlfriends and I will joke. We know guys in our life that had a girlfriend in 8th grade, and now they like hate women. They don't think that they're gonna be able to have a successful relationship. And it's so funny to think about that there are people that exist that would base the success of their future marriage off of a middle school relationship. But I
Right.
think it gets you thinking of like, wow, why is it in every aspect of our life, like there's a certain sense of urgency and importance of, this is something I have to work at. This is something that's important. I, I want a successful career. And even if I don't get the promotion, I'm going to stay at the company. I'm going to wait it out. But when it comes to dating, it's a one and done, or we get on that spectrum where, well, I just want somebody nice. I'm exhausted. And so I think I really like this thinking and creating aspect that you've implemented in the 4 steps, because it kind of breaks down that false philosophy that it doesn't exist, or what, like it's kind of like you can't apply the same metrics and processes to a healthy relationship. So that was a lot of different things that I was hitting at, but I really like that
That was great.
desire to lead and thinking creates, which leads to action.
That was great. I want to touch on it very small. That was very good, Meredith, and
Yes.
it brought up some things for me too. I'm just gonna get on the tail end of it. I know we have to move forward, but so let's kind of unpack like what we're talking about here, just for the viewers, so we can really come out of it with some practicality, right? So when we're talking about thinking and creating, I had to kind of really ponder and understand and really be able to kind of understand what that was, because you're doing it all the time, whether you want, whether it's for good things or bad things. And that's something I've battled with for a very long time, for different things that were happening in my life. But, you know, there's a saying that if you're really hitting it hard in one part of your life, those habits and those things kind of bleed over into the other parts of your life, and the exact opposite as well. And that's a direct component of desire, thinking, and creating. So when you have one area that you're really really good at, right? For my guys, if you're you know, the picture of physical health, right? You're in shape, you're this, but you're having a tough time with women in your job, then it's like, okay, why don't you take those same concepts? And this is something I thought about too. It's like, why don't I take that same desire and that same discipline to do everything, to make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do in the gym, outside the gym, to make sure that my body is a certain way, right? If you're a guy or a woman, right? Why don't I take that same thought process and that visualization of me going to the gym, not missing, sacrificing those nights out? Why don't I take that same vigor and say, okay, let me try this I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want this as bad as I want to work out. I want to make sure that I'm financially stable as bad as is I want to be able to lift this certain weight or have this certain physique or, do what I got to do to get the right amount of calories. It's all transitional. It's just like that. And the law of assumption is real. We do that in the things that we're really good at. So I just implore
Yes.
everyone to look at the things that that are really going well in our lives, despite everything that's going on in your life. We all go through things, but look at what's really going well in your life, and you have that picture, that physical picture, and you've assumed and act as if you're that person. You've acted as if you were that promotion at your job, and that's why it manifested for you. So you do the same thing in the other areas of your life, and this is something that I am currently working through too. So we're all working through these things, but I wanted to really hone in on that because that's the work that you have to do. It's not physical work, it's all mental work, but you're doing it in some area of your life. If you're really good with your family and you're a really good family person, then you can transition that into getting in the gym. So that way you're going to be more whole. It's gonna help you with your family. You're gonna be able to do things with your kids. You're gonna be able to do it. All kind of comes together, right? And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that because when we there's a lot of things about the law of assumption and thinking to create, and the root is desire. I desire to go on this trip. I desire to do these things, right? You have to make sure that you got to have faith. You don't know how you're going to do. You don't know how, but you made it happen. So those very same concepts need to be applied to the areas that you're just unsure about, but you want to change and you want to make better for it. And so acting as if, and it's uncomfortable, and it has to be, because you're literally tearing your old self. Your old self is dying and you're creating a new person. You're being transformed by the renewing of your mind, by saying, even in this circumstance, even in this cocoon, I'm shedding into this person in real time. But I have to act as if I'm already that person. I have to act as if I'm already the person who is hitting all these standards to attract that person. And it literally kind of just comes from behind the veil is what he's speaking of. And it's very small things in your life that you'll see change. Do not miss the small things. That's something that, I've had discussions with people, and I started to be aware and say, wow, very small things have started to shift in my life. Not huge things, but very small things. And the small things happen. So you get the rain before the thunderstorm, right? So that happens. So be aware, the small wins, the small things, be aware of that, build upon those things, and continue to act as if, have faith and believe. So
Excellent points. Excellent.